We're back with our Ask Me Anything segment where Gerald answers a question you have sent to us. What should I do if my boss is having a crisis of confidence and is second guessing him or herself? It's gone as far as them asking me, a subordinate, to send off an email to upper management because he or she feels that the upper management might be more receptive to me sending the email. How should I navigate this situation? Why do bosses, I guess, in general, suddenly become so not confident about their own abilities?
I've heard from bosses who've been affected by senior management. Something happened between them and senior management and they had a confidence smashed, right?
I see.
I've seen how bosses who are unfamiliar with the subject matter of the work, basically the boss cannot perform, can't do the job. This is from a young employee because the employee has to attend all the leadership meetings with his boss
Oh, wow.
because the boss doesn't understand the technicalities of the work and always needs him to be around, draft the email and then let the boss send on. And of course, we've got bosses who don't want to be bosses in the first place.
The reluctant manager.
That's right. Heard from a person who's leading a team that never really wanted to lead. She was a good performer at work, but he didn't like leading people. And he knew he couldn't manage the people management area as well. He didn't have the finesse to deal with the leadership politics. But he took the role anyway, because most of us would, and months down, the regrets kick in. So I think it's important to understand your boss situation so that you also know how dire the situation is. It could be a one-off that maybe will resolve itself.
Yeah, but it's, quite unprofessional, I feel, to ask your subordinate to speak on behalf of you to senior management. So, how do we navigate this situation if you don't feel comfortable doing this on behalf of your boss?
This sounds like it's your boss's problem, but the team is bearing the brunt of it.
Of course, yeah.
The team also feels less confident in the boss, less trust in the decisions that are made. Overall, the team morale is just going to suffer. In such situations, usually I would say the boss may not last for long.
Oh,
They will know of their own struggle, they can sense it, and it's just a matter of how long they can withstand before they eventually transit out or redesignate to another position on their own, right? But as long as they are there, then the team has to support the boss. So some ideas maybe for you as the employee to navigate the situation, I think it's a really big one is about communicating to your boss, right? First thing you got to do is perhaps you got to give the direct feedback to your boss. You have a good relationship with your boss or your trusted peer somehow. You have that very close relationship there. Please bring up the situation to them one-on-one, and maybe you want to highlight to them that you're speaking to them as a friend
okay.
out of concern because you have that relationship, and then raise your points objectively. Don't make it sound like it's blame or reprimand. Do include the encouragement and support as well. But if you don't have that kind of good relationship, and there's that distance between you and your boss, but you still want to get that through to him or her, then maybe you want to use things like 360 feedbacks if there is that being done in the organization. Many companies, they do have annual or half-yearly 360 leadership feedback. And or your boss may attend a leadership course, requires the direct reports to give feedback as well.
All of these sound like, okay, firstly, I have to have a good relationship with my boss, which, for some people, maybe because that's the reason why you're also sending the emails on behalf of them. But on the other hand, if you don't have, and then you do that, 360 feedback, all these is kind of still in the open. So, what if I don't want to burn my bridges? What if I feel that this is an awkward situation and I don't want to be identified? Then what can I do?
You could give your feedback anonymously,
Oh, how?
but this is a bit unorthodox, all right? So, but this is what really happened. I heard someone who created a new email account, of course, maybe a Gmail or Outlook email account with a pseudonym. The person sent the feedback plus encouragement to the boss.
Oh,
So the
okay,
boss
okay.
read it, acknowledged it with a thank you, and things became better from there. So the boss didn't know who sent it, right?
I
But
like the fact that the boss did acknowledge it. Imagine me getting an email from somebody with an email account that says notyourstaff@gmail.com. And then I have to write back to not my staff, thank you for your feedback.
yeah, but the whole point of this is to get the feedback, or rather the situation, to raise it up for awareness, to let
Okay.
the boss know that this is really affecting the team. I think it's no, regardless of what method we use, it's just more important for the boss to know lah. The climate within the team will likely be something like perhaps a little bit gossipy because your boss's behavior is becoming the talk of the lunchtime. right? Sometimes people might say demeaning things, so it might demoralize the team a lot more. So I think today, if you're in that team, perhaps you might want to maybe manage that talk a little bit by not adding
Yeah.
more negative
Fuel
points.
to the fire.
Yeah, and maybe if possible, to kind of steer the conversation towards more supportive and help oriented direction. It's not so much
Okay.
of helping your boss, but it's helping you and the team as well, because nobody wants to go back after talking about your boss back to your work, and then you start to feel like you have
Yeah.
to
Nothing
struggle
has
and suffer.
changed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to manage the office talk there.
Yeah. So regardless of the feedback channel we choose, what should we focus on when giving feedback to our bosses?
If we can perhaps keep it objective, perhaps you can just mention about the situation, what happened exactly. Be specific about what incident happened, when did it
Okay.
happen, and then also mention the behavior, what was observed, what happened with your boss, and then lastly the impact, right? What happened to you as a result of the behavior in that situation? How did it make you feel? What did it create? What did it cost? I think all this is important to bring it up. Try to use more neutral language
Mm.
because you're dealing with your boss. We don't want to hurt the person's feelings as well,
Mm.
right? And of course, we are also sensitive. We are scared talking to
Of
our boss.
course.
If you could, maybe ask someone who's not from the company, someone else from the outside, just to review to see, does it sound okay
Mm.
before you send it um, to your boss lah. Yeah,
Okay.
and I suggest doing this even if you are sending the anonymous one. What you hope for is to get the boss to acknowledge, right, that yes, indeed, this is the challenge.
Yeah.
This is something that I will work on.
Mm.
Yeah, instead
Mm.
of defending against, like, no, this is not right. It never happened.
You want to give as honest the feedback as possible, but you need to also do it with a calm head. Make sure that you are making the right decisions, you choosing the right words before you talk about it. I hope that for you, the listener, if you do decide to do that constructive feedback, your boss will take it well. And if you've tried it out, some of these tips that Gerald has given, and they work, please let us know. Write to us back at cnapodcasts@mediacorp.com.sg, and also send us a work-related question. We're happy to answer. Put it up on YouTube. You can also leave us a comment there on Spotify as well. We're there. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Gerald, wishing you a super work week ahead.